Greetings, you, the DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, this message that I'm going to share with you is probably going to cause people who I would consider, just friends or friendly towards me. It's probably going to cause a couple of them, and maybe some of you too. My platform friends, I'll call you, especially if you subscribe to the channel. It may challenge some of you guys to want to say, okay, I'm done with DFG because he's scared me. He has me afraid. And what I mean by that is that the Ruhuk speaks into the spirit of all of us, all of the believers. Our book says that it leads and it guides us. You know what I'm saying? That it'll put the word of Elohim in our mouths, and whatever that word is, we bring it forward. Well, this morning, get into the message here. It's not going to be long. This morning, Ruhuk had me go back to CERN, C-E-R-N. And if you know what CERN is, it's this big portal that over the last, probably last 10 years, that, scientists driven by major corporations, driven by major money, driven by the rulers of darkness of this world, have been trying to create a portal into the earth, claiming they're looking for dark matter. But in all reality, they really was going in there to release the fallen angels who Yah had placed there in chains until the last days. Until the last believer has been sealed in their heads. In other words, the last believer has the covering of the Ruhuk over them. The world calls the Holy Spirit. And then it's going to release these things. And when these demons came out, they were going to cause havoc on the earth. That's why Yeshua said it was going to be like it was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. The earth, I'm talking about, man, the civilization, the way things would be happening in this time. He said, whatever time it would be just like it was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah. And when you go into Joshua and you read about Sodom and Gomorrah, you realize that homosexuality was a part of it, but also every kind of extortion, cheating people, murder was going on. Pedophiles were in the land, incest was happening, and with people having sex with their own children, bestiality, people having sex with their dogs living in their houses with them, sleeping in their bed. I mean, it was just everything that a man imagined that he or she wanted to do, they would be able to do. That's what was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, also the same thing was happening in the days of Noah. Yeshua said again, it would be like it was in the days of Noah. How that they would be marrying one another, same-sex marriage, how they would be doing all the things that I just mentioned to you. And not only that, they would have highly intelligence going on in the land. When I mean high levels of intelligence, they would be doing things that were not known to man up until that period of time. In other words, the knowledge had increased to a level that the book said they were men of renown. Men who had the ability to create things that were unimaginable, things they had never been able to do prior to that particular time, as it is in this day. If you look at everything from the internet system to artificial intelligence, to all of these inventions that are here now, the scientific discoveries, so they say. Where we are today, it has never been like that. For thousands of years, we've been here on this earth. Our ancestors, think about your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and you can go as far probably back as reasonable. And they were in horse and buggies using lanterns for lights and things. And then over the last couple of generations, look where it is now. We have discovered dark matter. And that dark matter really is darkness. We're being told now that, that there are possibly UFOs and aliens. And there are some people saying, wow, that's amazing, that's unbelievable. But then there are some of us who have the Ruhuk in us. We are saying, oh, no, it's not. They're telling you that those aliens are from out of this world somewhere. But the truth of it, they're from inside this earth. In other words, they are the fallen angels who are now coming back on this earth to create some serious chaos. The book talks about, the beast system, the system of this beast causing everybody to take their mark. And they're either, it says in their foreheads or their forearms. But in essence, this mark is going to change their DNA. to totally change who they are as a person, so that whatever is inside of them, they're controlled by this beast. Now, let me give you an example of what that control will look like, and this is what I think is going to scare some of you. Let's just say that a lustful man, for example, a very, very lustful man, who probably spends most of his days looking, for some form of sex, wicked sex. I don't know, any kind of sex, But he would roam the streets, roam the grocery stores, roam the nightclubs, roam the mall, roam anywhere looking, to lure a woman for sex. Any kind of sex, I might add. Any kind of sex he could get, whether it's oral sex, anal sex, heterosexual, penis to vagina sex, whatever sex he's trying to get. Can you imagine when whatever this is takes its fullness of it, that this man goes out, he solicits this sex, and at the spur of the moment, whatever this what he thought was a female or a male, turns around on him and just attacks him and start eating his flesh alive. Can you imagine demons and human beings running up to your automobile and trying to break in your automobile? All these people on these corners who are beggars. Maybe those people now have had their DNA altered because they were told they had to continue to get public assistance. That whatever is inside of their DNA turns on them, and they become, while they're sitting there, you think they're looking to get change from you, with their signs, can you help me? All of a sudden, they break through your window glass and grab your children, and start to consume them. I know some of you say, oh, that's an impossibility. Why is it an impossibility? They have been training us for this stuff to happen with all the Walking Dead movies for how long now? For years and years and years. You've seen the Bird Box. Think about it. All these things, all of a suddenly, man turns on man, starts doing things unbelievable. Remember the Bird Box? I think that's Sandra Bullock movie. It's on Netflix. Go watch Netflix. I think it's like the #2 movie on Netflix right now. Well, all of a sudden, just suddenly, it wasn't a slow walk. It just happened immediately. Everybody lost their minds and just was mayhem, except for the people who were sealed in this movie, in this particular house, who were not in direct path of the so-called sunlight beam. And if you remember, everyone who was in the streets were eating people, murdering people. They were zombie-like. You think about all of these movies that we have seen. They tell us time and time and time again that art imitates life. These demonic forces on this planet, they have to signal you and they have to signal each other. That's why they have all these signs and emblems and, everything from showing the one eye. Next time you see somebody who's got a photo or a Facebook profile and they got one eye covered, you should recognize that's a goddamn demon. And if you watch them when they do that, just look at their profile. Go look farther down there. You'll see them exposing their bodies. You'll see them, in states of drunkenness, robbery. You'll see them in these wild parties, parades, festivals. Go look. Evil, evil, evil. The Ruach told me this morning to bring this out. In other words, Yah told me this morning to bring this out. Not to the unbeliever, because the unbeliever they're not going to listen. The book says they're not going to listen. But this is to warn the believer so that you can be prepared. So you can start coming away from these things. And as these things happen, you understand what's going on. So you can properly prepare yourselves and for your family. They have warned us that something was going to happen to mankind, where mankind would turn on mankind and start consuming their flesh. They would something that would be done to mankind that would alter them. Of course, they never really get to what happened. Most of the time, it's some kind of, think about it, some kind of disease, some kind of plague. Think about it. Some plague, something happens, and all of a sudden people change. That sound familiar? In this day and time that we in, does that sound familiar? And how many people, that have already compromised their DNA? What if what we're seeing in the movies is going to be our reality? And some of these people are people, some of you women. I talked about the men chasing these, tramps and whores, for sex out there. These men who are obsessed, got a sex demon in them, chasing these whores. Anything that would lay down with them, they'll lay down with them. But what some of you women, what about if you're in the bed with your man? A man that's not of Elohim. I know you probably say, no, I'm just telling you. You believe what you want to believe, sisters. But what if you're in the bed with your man? This loving man of yours, this loving father, this loving son or some mother and father, this man has shown you nothing but love. And all of a sudden, because something altered his body, something clicks in his mind, and he turns around and he grabs you by your shirt and bites your whatever. Think about the gore and the bloodiness of this situation. And I know that's why I said some of you guys are not going to like this message. But am I telling you something that you haven't seen on your own televisions? That you haven't seen in your own tablets, your phones, or however you watch, information or news or whatever? Am I telling you something that you have not seen before? Why would they even push that stuff upon you if they did not have a plan to bring that into fruition? Now, of course, something very wicked and something very, very evil would have to be in a person for them to do that. That's not something someone would do in their right mind. Don't get me wrong here. When you're in your right mind, or your person, your family, or even these whores in the street, if they're in their right mind, they're probably just going to give you what you pay them for, and you're going to go about your business. They go back by their business. But what if they're not in their right mind? What if all of a sudden, they click? What if all of a sudden that something has happened globally that makes everybody who's been compromised click at the same time? Where will you be caught? Where would you be? Would you be in the middle of mayhem? Just look at where are you going today? Where are you going to spend most of your day today? I'm just asking you a question. Where will you be today? On your job, shopping? Where will you be today? If all hell broke out at a moment, just an instant moment, where would they find you located at? And would you be able to protect yourself from those who no longer have any sense of humanity anymore? Now they're beasts. The books use wolves in sheep's clothing. Satan going around like a lion seeking who he might be able to devour. Think about the metaphors. Wolves. What are wolves? Wolves are savage beasts. Lions can be savage beasts when they're on the prowl. And the book warned us, be careful of wolves in sheep's clothing. If you don't have the seal of the Ruach in you to almost make you to the point of almost like a repellent to them, you're going to be in trouble. You are going to be in serious trouble. And again, you men running out here, what if that very moment you're running out here looking for your whore, and bam, it happens. Some of you brothers better back up. Some of you brothers claim to have the Ruach in you. I'm talking to you. You see that lust demon that you have on you, every woman you see, all you can imagine is having sex with them. I'm talking to you. You better zip it up. You had better start stepping back and saying, I don't know who that is and what that is, and I sure don't want to be caught in a compromised, situation and die 1,000 deaths because of my own stupidity, my own ignorance, my own uncontrollable lust. Sisters, the same thing apply to you. Some of you sisters who are out here using your body to attract men, using your eyelashes, getting extension eyelashes, using your lovely, long, extended hair weaves, whatever it is you're doing with your body to make you feel good and make you feel attractive and make you feel relevant. What if the next man who looks at you and start commenting you or coming to you that you think is coming to you, in a flirtatious way, is coming at you in a murderous way? It has happened before, but it's going to happen globally, is what the Rahuk is telling me. Globally, it's going to happen. It's why we tell you all the time, sisters, the importance of having a covering. That's why we're always saying to you, get you a covering. Come out from among them. Don't look at the outer appearance. See, the book tells us don't be judging things by the cover. And some of you guys are looking at the cover, and you're not even paying attention to what's behind the cover. All you ladies. And you've heard, Yahuwah told you, you had better get a man after his own heart. A man that loves him with all his heart. I'm talking about Yahuwah, with all his heart, mind, and spirit. Because that's the way you know whether or not that sheep is a real sheep. And that's not a wolf with sheep clothing on. That's how you know. A lot of you are, listening to what they say, but you're not looking at anything. Look at some of these men. These men have no signs outside of some religious, affiliations that they have, whether it was in some Mason group who claim to be religious, or some secret society that's supposed to have a religious foundation, or some church organization where they're supposed to be a pastor, or elder, or evangelist, or preacher, or whatever the hell they are. But there are no signs behind them that says anything that would tell you that's not a wolf in sheep's clothing. And whenever this DNA thing happens, because our book tells us that once this DNA, whenever they take the mark of the beast, it's going to change them. And it's going to change to the point where they're going to hell. They're going to be condemned. They stand no chance of repentance. There's no way for them to come back to Yah once they take the mark of the beast. They cannot be saved. They are going to be condemned to hell, and they're going to create hell on this earth. I'm talking about stuff that you can't even imagine, sisters and brothers. And some of us got some very creative imaginations. You're seeing some very creative, imaginable things on your box, that television box over there, that programming box over there, that many of you need to learn how to turn off and then and turn this on. Because I know these things because I got this turned on and I got this turned on. The light inside of me. The light of the world, the Rahuk, the seal of the world. My DNA is not going to be changed because I'm going to say hell no to the scorpion sting. I ain't doing it under any circumstances. And nor should you, or nor should you expose your children to the scorpion sting. Because the book says the scorpion is, go to Revelation chapter 9. I'm going to go there in a minute. I'm also going to go to Revelation chapter 14. Just to give you, again, biblical insight. See, the book says that in the last days, knowledge would increase. That men would be going to and fro. In other words, you're talking about an internet system, communication system. Artificial intelligence, things happening so much faster than you can do it. Most of you are going to get replaced on your jobs. I hope you know that. So you guys are out there selling each other out on the job, backstabbing each other on your jobs, ratting each other out on your jobs. You're going to get fired anyway. Because artificial intelligence is going to come and replace you. I don't give a damn if you're a cashier, you're a bus driver, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a lawyer, it doesn't matter. Artificial intelligence is already in play and coming to a city or a job near you, and it's going to replace you. Why do you think they're getting people accustomed to getting universal income or government subsidies called stimulus money? Why do you think they put that in play? Because they know it's coming. They know it's coming. People don't even go to work right now because they've become so, indoctrinated, so seduced into getting this, what they think is free. This is not, there's no such thing as free. Our book says if a man doesn't work, that man does not deserve to eat. Our book says if a man doesn't work, he's supposed to starve to death. And women, if your man is not working, you're supposed to starve to death. That's why you don't need to have a lazy man with you. If that man refuses to go out and get a job, you need to get rid of him. Quick. Matter of fact, don't even get associated with him. First question you need to ask. Two questions. Do you believe? Are you a believer? Then tell me about your belief. Tell me about your walk. Then your second question is, Do you have a job? Or you're a working man? To see if he's a believer and he's a working man, he'll provide and protect you. If he's a non-believer and he's lazy, he's only going to eat enough for himself and he's only going to provide for himself. No matter what lies he tell you. Remember, the book said, be careful that you be not deceived, my brothers and my sisters. But whenever this alteration happens, not authorization, altered. Whenever this alteration happens, whenever this DNA altering happens, remember, they are gonna have the power to control the minds of those individuals. And if that power that be, and that power be, that is its intention, but that power that be, if it does some type of MK Ultra mind control system, what makes you think it won't tell that person to cause mayhem, slaughter you, slaughter your children, and y'all become its meal? And vice versa. Tell this woman who's in your bed, my brother, whose DNA has been compromised, that she won't look over at you. You think she's about to turn over to you for love, and she's about to turn over you for death. Your death. This is what's coming. And I know some of you, I don't want to hear that. That's too negative. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to hear it. It doesn't matter how negative you think it is. If it's the truth, then there's nothing you can do about it. You can ignore it. You can turn your head to it. You can turn off this message. It's just going to come to you unawares. And the book did say it's going to catch many of them unawares. So turn it off. It's just going to catch you unawares. Same thing's going to happen. So you have to ask yourself this question. If you could have the knowledge and do something to prevent it from happening to you, or be ignorant and take no precautions and have everything things happen to you you can never imagine that's so vicious to you, which one would you choose? Because that is the choice you're confronted with today. All of us are confronted with that choice. But it's your choice to make. No one can make you do anything. They can coax you into it. They can incentivize you into doing it. They can have a lottery to get you to do it. They can give you a free snowball to get you to do it, or a free hamburger to get you to do it. Right? They can do those kind of things to get you to do it. They can tie your next stimulus check into getting you to do it. But whatever it is to alter you, it's still your choice if you go along with it or not. They can threaten your job, tell you, well, your company has a right to request this or the right to demand that. And you have the right to quit. You have the right to walk off that job, say, you take it, you stupid mother. You take it. I ain't taking nothing. You have that right. You can exercise that right or not. Depends on what you fear the most. Do you fear what man can do to you more than you fear what Elohim will allow man to do to you? That's your decision to make. Personally, I fear more what Elohim will allow man to do to me. So I don't worry about nobody who can destroy my body. I worry about who can destroy my body and my soul in hell. That's Elohim. That's not man. But again, those are the choices that all of us are going to have to make. And you adults, the choice you make is the consequence that your children are going to have to deal with. So you can choose whatever way you choose. But remember, when you choose any of your children that's under probably 10 years old, you're making the choice for them too. So you ask yourself the question, what do you want for your children? Because whatever you decide, that's what they're going to get. They're going to be weeping and gnashing of the teeth, as the book says, based off of some of the decisions that many of you are going to be making. But this is coming. This darkness has been released upon this earth. They dug into this earth using CERN and these big, and whatever these called, I want to say generators, or not incinerators, but these big machines, some of them 18, 19 miles wide, several of them right here in the United States, to make these portals to go into the earth and release these demons out of this earth. And now this wickedness is on you and you can feel it. And by the way, for you who think that I'm if I'm conflating this, when I'm talking about, something, some human beast attacks you and becomes a cannibal like beast, vicious, to try to eat you. The book talks about this a whole lot, by the way. The book mentions this. Oh, it's all through the book where men are eating men. So look, but anyway, for some of you guys who think that I'm conflating this situation, take a look at what's been going on lately. There's a guy who goes in this Asian massage parlor and kills these people with no rational reason. The guy who goes under this rail station, kill these people for no logical reason. The fireman who does it. I mean, what do you think is happening to the minds of those men who did that? A lot of you guys, when they go and ask why this guy, people are like, I don't know why he did it. Or they try to come up with some fake narrative. Well, a couple of years ago, he was acting weird. Or he had a lot of guns and all. See, all of that is to distract you. They know what's going on. The evil forces of this world, they know exactly what's going on. These are test runs. They're seeing if whatever they've done to alter the minds of those individuals, they're testing it to see if it will work. If they can get these people to click on you in a moment notice. That's what they're doing. And they've been doing this for years. For years they've been doing this. And they'll catch these so-called school shooters or people shooting up restaurants, and they'll ask these people what happened. These men got that blank stare in their eyes like, huh? I did what? I don't know why I did it. Because they don't know why they did it. They were altered mentally. Remember the Manchurian Candidate? That was another art imitate, the Manchurian Candidate. They were telling us, Get Out. Remember the movie Get Out? All these are things that were warning you that they have the power to do it. So don't think I'm exaggerating this when I tell you that if depending on who's been compromised, if they can use that group to destroy the other group, they can rid this world of probably 95% of its population. And they can stand back and do nothing. They can stand back. I ain't got nothing to do. Like the government is saying, we're pushing this jab. I don't have nothing to do with that. That's up to your employer. See, the government can turn us on each other and step back and say, I ain't got nothing to do with it. That was them doing that to them. I don't know what happened. Oh, by the way, let me get rid of the police force and all these other, so-called protective agencies. I know that some of them are wicked, but let's get rid of all of that so they, without excuse, so they can't blame the government. Y'all say y'all didn't want police, so there is no police. Now you got your mayhem. That big thing on D.C. back in January, another thing to show you, how do we know that most of these people didn't have their minds altered to go to D.C.? We don't know that. Of course, yeah, they said when they went there because they were anti-this and anti-that and pro-this and pro-that. You don't know where these people came from. Some of these people were CEOs of companies. Some of these people were in the military. Some of these people were in law enforcement. Think about it. And they're going to hold none of them accountable, I might add, because now the people who are attacked there are saying they're not pressing any charges. As a matter of fact, they're saying it was really a friendly visit. And you ought to ask yourself, why these people are saying that? Maybe they're part of the authorization mentally too. So you're looking at the test run. So if you think that I'm conflating this, then you were probably the same people who thought Lot, when he was warning his daughters and son-in-law to get out of Sodom, that he was conflating that to them, and they thought he was. They told him, get out of here, we don't want to hear that. You're probably just like the people in Noah's day, when Noah was warning them that it was going to rain, that it was going to be a flood, and that the whole world was going to be consumed, calling him a nut, get out here with that. You're conflating that. You're probably going to fall victim to the same thing that happened to those people on both of those different occasions. This again is a last day warning to many of you. The book is warning us. I'm sure that's why Elohim put it in my spirit this morning, again, to come to you, through this video platform to warn you. And that you will be able to warn others. And I know some of you, this guy's God. And I understand. I'm not offended. I promise you. If you go away and never come back I'm not offended. My job was to bring it to you. You heard it. You can now, if you want to unsubscribe, go ahead. It's okay. It's okay. This is not about subscriptions, guys. This is about information. It's about me doing my job as a messenger of Elohim. I have to do my job whether you want to hear it or not. It's regardless. It doesn't matter. Yeshua was hung on a tree because he had to do the job that Yah sent him to do. They hated him because he was telling them things they did not want to hear. And he said if this happened to him, it would happen, worse thing would happen to us. But he didn't let that distract him. He didn't let that, cause him not to fulfill his mission. I'm just fulfilling my purpose. Once I'm done, I'm sure Yah will remove me. For some of you, when you unsubscribe, he'll remove me, right? And for those of you who stay, then maybe Yah wanted you to stay. Maybe instead of pressing that button, maybe you ought to pressing this unsubscribe button, you press the send button, share button. But those are decisions that, life is full of decisions. And if you make the right decision, you're rewarded. You make the wrong decision, you're rewarded. But decisions you have to make. Choose this day whom you will serve. Remember that? Choose you this day whom you will serve. The gods of this world and its traditions and its paganism and festivals, etc., or Elohim, who never changes and who is a jealous Elohim. In other words, he's not going to share you with a lover. He's not going to share you with you can't be halfway in and halfway out. Matter of fact, he said if you're lukewarm, half in, half, he will vomit you out of his mouth. He detests you for that. So you can't say, well, yeah, I believe, but I'm not going to change. Okay. That's going to be used against you at judgment. That you knew, but you refused to do anything about the knowledge that you had. But again, envision what I talked about. Mad men and mad women going crazy on this earth. Because that's what they've been programming us to be prepared for. But of course, they lied and said superheroes going to come and save you. The Black Panther going to come and save you. What's his name? I can't even think of the Chad Bowman guy, whatever his name was. I don't want to even mess his name up. But Thor and Captain America and Iron Man and, some of these female goddess, these so-called superheroes, they're not going to save you. Just so you know. Your children think they're going to, when all this mayhem comes, your children are going to be sitting there waiting for something to come out the sky to save them. And what's going to come out these skies are going to be demons to devour them. And they're programmed not to even respond. Because you've been taking them to these matinees and letting them watch this stuff. This magic stuff, this wizardry stuff. Your children are sitting there saying, oh, this is good, this is a friend. And it's going to come right there. And you laid the door open for that by exposing them to that. And some of you may say, well, DFG, what shall I do? What can I do to avoid this? All I can tell you is what the book says. That's repent. I mean, sincere repentance. Yah, change my heart, change my action, change my mind, change my behavior. And then turn to him and say, Yah, whatever is written in this book for me to do, I'm doing. I don't care it doesn't matter. You send this messages to me, you send these messages to me, I'm going to obey. I will no longer resist, I will obey. Those who obeyed Lot got out of Sodom, except for the one who couldn't get her mind right. Wish-wash. One day she in, one day she out. His wife. We know what happened to her. And in Noah's day, his sons and his sons' wives. Those were the only ones who got out. Remember, when they start turning man against man, the book says, what? Almost 3/4 of the population is going to die. How is that going to happen? For the most part, it's going to be diseases, starvation, and murder. Diseases, starvation, and murder. All men driven. All, created by wicked men. And you see these men getting in positions right now to create starvation, buying up all this land, talking about putting nuclear reactors on the land, talking about these cyber attacks, for resources, inflation and prices going crazy on people. They're already signaling you what's to come, at least signaling each other that it's time. But the problem is most of our people are asleep. Just sitting around waiting and saying, I don't know about that. We'll just wait and see. I wonder when Biden is going to give us the next money. I hope he do it soon because I'm going to lose my apartment. I'm going to lose my, I don't know, whatever they talking about they're going to lose. But what they're not realizing, they're going to lose your mind. And that's the worst thing you can lose because your mind and your soul is the same thing. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? It profits that man nothing. Yeshua, as I was talking about a moment ago, he had to fulfill his mission. He didn't want to fulfill it. He shed blood tears and asked Yah to take that cup away from him. But Yah said, no, this is why you're here. Then he said, okay, not my will, Yah will be done. For many of us, including myself, we don't necessarily want to be sitting here saying this stuff because we know many of our family members and friends or people who are going to get offended. But he said, woe unto those who get offended. But the truth got to come forward. And to be honest with you, as hard as it is for us to speak this truth, I'm glad I was chosen as one of the vessels to do it. Because maybe one or two of you will listen and, maybe you'll be saved. Maybe you won't, let your DNA be altered. Maybe you'll say, I don't care, do whatever y'all gonna do, but one thing you ain't gonna do is change me inside. You might be able to harm me on the outside, but you ain't gonna be able to do anything to me on the inside because that's my choice. Two things I'm gonna say before I end this message. My mother, I love my mother beyond, to much, in my mind, I love my mother more than as much as a child could love their mother until her passing away. I loved her. My mother, in my mind, couldn't do no wrong, although she had faults. But I remember back in 2013 when Yah took my mother away, you know what I'm saying? And I believe he took her away because my mother was a believer. I think Yah saved my mom. Because I remember, as hard as it was for me to lose my mom, there was a certain lightness of me. It's almost like the burden of being and worrying about my mom was like lifted away from me. So I didn't grieve in the normal way that a person would grieve to lose someone that had been in their lives for 5 decades, well, not 44 decades plus. I didn't grieve like that. It was almost like Yah had warned me that her death was imminent. And when it did happen, I was able to manage all of the business, and I mean manage all of it. I was able to manage it without any help from anybody. I was able to manage it all. And I never thought I would be able to do that as a younger man. But I was able to manage everything, even from picking out the clothes that would be on her corpse. All of it, from pillar to post. And I remember, a feeling that came over me and said, now you can exhale, Dale. Because she has been removed from the evil to come. And now you can focus on my people. Praise Yah. And that's where I sit today. That's where I've sat for many days, focused on the people of Elohim. Judah, Israel, and the stranger who also believes with all their heart, mind, and soul. Not going to be many of them, but there will be few of them. But for my people. Now I can be that vessel for my people. And I'm grateful for that. But again, it's a burden to carry, but it's a burden that I'm willing to carry. Because I know in the end, my reward will be there. Because I was not afraid of what people would think about me, what people would say about me, what people would do to me. And that's where you're going to have to be, my sisters and my brothers. Now let me give you some book so we can wrap this up. Revelation chapter 9. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. Remember I was talking about what's locked up under the earth? That CERN was the key to the bottomless pit. And now they have opened the portal down there. And that's why you see all this wickedness going on. That's why you see all these global agendas. The meat problem is a global problem. The poultry problem is a global problem. Environment is a global problem. The plague is a global problem. Think about it. All this global stuff all of a sudden. This says whatever was going to happen, it was going to be global. That's why you know this book is true, sisters. This is why you know this book is true, my brothers. And it was written long before you came on the earth. So all these people telling you don't believe that, they're just trying to scare you. You better tell them, get the hell out of here, you dumb, stupid ass. I don't hear nothing you got to say. How do you know that? Who told you that the book is a lie? Well, I just don't believe it. Then, okay, but don't come tell me about your unbelief, trying to tell me that like somehow or another, just because you don't believe it, that you're right. Most of you telling you they don't believe it, ain't never been right about anything in their lives. Yet now all of a sudden they're the subject matter expert with no learning whatsoever. Except for this program labor, public school learning, private school learning to make them slaves of the elite. In other words, so you can get a job and enrich the rich. And yet they're the experts on this word? I think not. And the key was given to him of the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit. And there arose a smoke out of the pit. These are the demons. And as that smoke, and there rose a smoke out of that pit, and the smoke was a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of this smoke. In other words, wickedness all over the earth. And there came out the smoke locusts upon the earth. Locusts is things who cause famine. And unto them was given power. And then the scorpions and as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing. Environmental protection agency, the so-called global warming. You notice that they're emphasizing that, but they're not emphasizing saving us. I mean, they're still killing babies in these debt factories called, pro-choice clinics. It goes on to say don't kill the green things, but only those men which have not the seal of Yahuwah in their foreheads. Isn't that interesting? The only thing that's not going to be altered is those of us who have the Rahuk in us, because we're going to resist taking that thing. And to them that was given, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented for 5 months. And their torment was the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. And in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and want to die and they can't. And death shall flee from them. That's what I'm talking about, your DNA being altered, or their DNA being altered. And it's going to be a thing to us because we're going to be looking at things that we never could have imagined. We're going to be in shock. It says for 5 months. Now the book says a day with Elohim is 1,000 years, 1,000 years is a day. So 5 months could be literally 5 months. It could be 10 months. It could be, it could literally be 5 months. That only, the answer to that will happen when it happens. But we better pray that it's not literally 5 months from this moment. Because if that's the case, most of you guys are out of time. Better you guys saying, well, I got to do something. I got to do something. No, you had better have done something, or you had better been doing. You had better be doing it. So the only ones that's not going to be attacked by these beasts that are going to come out, these fallen demons that are going to come out of the earth, the only ones they're not going to attack is those who have been sealed by the Rahuk. Now here's what's going to happen to those who are not sealed. Let me go to Revelation chapter 14. Revelation 14:11. And the smoke, back to the smoke, and the smoke of their torment ascends up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receives the mark of that beast. It says name, but that's what it's saying. Now, I've done my part today. I've done my part for today. I'm sure y'all will have something else if I live to the end of the day. Praise y'all. I have no reason to believe I won't, but if not, I've done my part. Now, it's up to you. What are you going to do? You've heard it. And I pray, Judah, Israel, you don't want this to happen. You do not want to be caught up in this death trap that's coming, this snare that's coming up on the earth to destroy men. You don't want to be a part of that. Some of you guys say, I've already did the DFG. Well, don't do it again. Because they're setting this up for it to happen over and over again. You know what I'm talking about when I'm saying don't do it again. They want this to be they're going to have a 6-month or annual thing going on with this thing. Probably once or twice. It's probably not enough to complete what they want to do. So I would tell you, don't ever do it again, and make sure you spread this word to everybody not to do it again. And if they choose to do it, remember, there may be the ones who are going to click on you, and they may turn on you. Like I said, they may be in your bed. They may be sitting, y'all might be sitting there eating dinner together. You might be driving down the road. You may be at work, and these damn demons are going to click, and they're going to come right at you like a wolf coming to prey, or a damn lion who is hungry. Or that Rahukin you can be your shield, your repellent to evil. That's what it's intended to do, as it draws you closer to Elohim, sisters and brothers. But again, it's time to come in. It's time now. We have no more time left. When I woke up, this was on my heart, and I've given it to you. Now it's in your heart. I hope it stays. DFG, talk to you later. Bye now.